if I was the recruiter, right, I would not want to recruit a person who doesn't like tech. Because as a product manager, while you can say I'm getting into X product and I understand that field, but generally I think as a product manager, you need to understand technology and technology as a whole. And you learn as and when you shift products, move products, understand each stack or what have you. So without that passion towards technology, it's likely a person can succeed in product management.
So, hello everyone. Today we are here with an exciting episode of our Industry Connect series. My name is Anindya Longvah, and I just graduated from IIM Cal. Today we have, I'll be your host today with Seekamentor. So, Seekamentor is a learning and mentorship platform which helps students and professionals achieve their career goals. They can help you connect with the top 1% of industry experts who have gone through the same path that you are going to pursue. So, our industry leader for today in this episode is Mr. Phalgun Gujja. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yep. Hey, folks.
All right. He's someone who has an extremely impressive profile with a background in commerce, and he's also a CA and an MBA from ISB. So he had worked for over a decade in what can be seen primarily as finance-oriented roles before he did his MBA. However, there's a twist. So post his MBA, he has been working at Microsoft in a product role, and he is now a senior product manager there and has spent around 4 years there. So now a question that I have, and I believe most of our viewers will also have, is how can a product manager with a non-tech background be successful? What's your opinion on this?
The way I see it, I think the two parts to it, generally when I hear the question, right? One is how can a person be a product manager from a non-tech background? And then it's about how can you be successful? The way I see the role of a product manager, it's about empathizing with your users and then empathizing with users, which helps you build what or helps you decide what you want to build, and then selling that or getting consensus among your peer group or your engineering group or your leadership to build what you need to do. And either of this, right, is not really a tech related problem that we need to solve. So for example, if you need to understand your customer, is you need to understand your customers. It's about understanding the industry or the business you're in, and having the skills to talk to people and the customers whom you have. That'll be a little bit of research skill, a little bit of other skills to talk to people. And so how do you use the output to build your vision and then selling it to the entire leadership? In any of these places, there's no real tech involved, right? So that's where being successful is more here being an analytical overview and having the people skills.
All right. So what were the major challenges that you faced in this role? And did any of those challenges stem from the fact that you don't have a tech background?
Not having a tech background, it definitely comes with a few challenges. As in, the first set of challenges is I came from a non-tech role, if I would say, and not necessarily a tech background, a non-tech role, which means that I don't understand the tech industry. And so your first challenge is to, if you come from a non-tech role like me, if you come from a finance role where you're used to whatever in finance, understand how the tech industry works, what are the life cycle in a product development and so on. So that is the first learning curve that a person needs to take. The next part is, and most likely in most companies, will be to understand the product which you are in. So you need to understand the ecosystem of the product. Who are your competitors? What is the customer like? What are the customer general needs? Because not while a lot of us, when we think of product management, we think of all our general consumer products like Swiggy or what have you. Many of us or many of the PMs will end up being in a not so public facing product or not a consumer facing product. So there it starts getting more of a learning curve and understanding what your product is. And then finally, if you specifically talk about me, you will, as a person coming again from a non-tech background, you'll need to pick up the lingo of the lay of the land. So you can't go talk in finance lingo to a engineer, right? That doesn't work. I can't say my IRR, if I invest so much on, if I spend 10 hours on this, is going to be this. That won't work out. It's about quantifying it and explaining what you have in a language which the people understand. Right. And there will always be some bit of tech learning curve in general, because it's a tech product management. So you need to understand the technology you're in, the stack which is there. That doesn't mean you need to understand how the code is written, but For example, you need to know what is cloud architecture. You need to know what is the various technologies that are around. And only then will you be able to even when you come up with proposals as a product management, you need to know even what you're saying works or doesn't work. So to that extent, you need to have the tech knowledge that is there.
Right. So I'm just curious, what fueled your decision to switch from your past job to product?
For me, historically, I like tech. You can call me a tech nerd for that matter. And yeah, I've been, if I used to get, I'm always into general tech like mobiles and any consumer tech. I'm very keen on understanding how and what works. Every mobile I used to get, I used to open up. In those days when you could really open up mobiles when they were all done with screws, I used to open up, look at what it is. I used to go into the what do you call routing the Android phones, or I used to build my own computers and build computers for n number of people and so on and so forth. So generally, I am very passionate about consumer tech. So I was always looking for opportunities to be in the tech field, and definitely product management does pay well. So that part of the problem is anyway not going to be there. I'm not going to go to a lower paying job anyway. So all of them put together, I would say I'm working in my dream job. So it makes it very simple because it's all about tech and that's what I want.
Right. So you did your MBA from ISB, right? This was how long ago?
Pass out from 2019.
2019. So could you take us through your MBA experience?
ISB MBA, I mean, relative to an IMBA is 50% of the time. So relatively short, quick MBA. But coming from my background of pure finance, we get to learn a lot of things in the other piece of an MBA, because I think MBA has two broad pieces. One is the finance, markets, and data, all of those bits, and then there's the marketing and strategy bits. So what for me was interesting was the marketing and the strategy portions, which definitely help in a product management role. While people may wonder why strategy, everybody understands it's why it's required, but if you think about marketing, what to me the takeaway from marketing is about understanding your consumers, and product management is about understanding your consumers, and that's where for me it intersects. So these were the key takeaways on at least the academic side of the MBA. And in general, I think ISB program is for me an apt duration, especially if you come with a longer experience, and the general peer group that you have is pretty strong at ISB. And at the end of it, I think I ended up having a lot of fun there too, along with whatever learning and everything else.
All right. So you got placed in Microsoft through the campus placements, right?
Yep.
Right. So what was your interview experience like?
For me, when I was shortlisted, I really didn't expect to go through the entire thing. I didn't expect to become or be chosen at Microsoft. So I had a few other, how the ISB or any placement works, right? You have day XYZ, on every day you have some n number of interviews lined up, and we need to prioritize time. So like Microsoft hai, and probably anyway it's a very moonshot thing. So let me just get it out of the way. And I also had other things lined up for the day. I thought, okay, I'll just probably be first one in, first one out, and I'll move on to the next thing. And that's how I planned my day. And the way I wanted it, I wanted to be the first one there, just get over with it. So I ensured that I was there at probably it started at 9 a.m. So I was there at around 8:30, 8:45. I ensured I was the first one there, got my interview, and then I ran to the next one. And in 10 minutes, I got a call. Hey, come back for the next one. I'm like, okay. Then came back for the next one. Again, I ran to ran back to the other one because they were waiting for me there. And then again, somebody called up, don't you want a Microsoft role? Just come back here. And then I'm like, okay, let me go through it. But the positives and the negatives of the interview process, if and again, I've not spoken to the person who interviewed me, but these are my assumptions. One is, for most tech people, you will be also questioned on your tech background, on your tech role, what you did, so on and so forth, and people can go deep into whatever you claim on your resume. But if you come from a non-tech background, it's difficult for people who are interviewing you on those lines. So what they will be focusing is purely on your product management skills. That's both an advantage and disadvantage. An advantage is at least you don't need to be telling them how you did some whatever things you came from, whatever background. So those people are not really concerned about. But the disadvantage is they'll be probing you a lot into your product management skills, and that's where it starts counting. And your passion needs to be there, and only then it'll come out.
Right. So, since you've been at Microsoft for the past 4 years, could you tell us a little about what it's like to work there and what an aspiring product manager should do to get into such a role?
Getting into product management, if you're coming laterally, that's fairly straightforward. No, not really a question. But people who are coming from from a B school, or who are coming in directly as a first job or what have you, one is you can end up getting into any tech company as a product management, and then that is the simpler part. But if you get into, I think, organization Microsoft, first thing is you need to have that passion towards technology. The way I see it, if I was the recruiter, right, I would not want to recruit a person who doesn't like tech, because as a product manager, there is while you can say I'm getting into X product and I understand that field, but generally I think as a product manager you need to understand technology and technology as a whole. And you learn as and when you shift products, move products, understand each stack or what have you. So without that passion towards technology, I feel it's less likely a person can succeed in product management. And so passion towards tech, that automatically translates to knowing about what is the current developments in tech. So for example, what is the recent cases on Apple, on Google, on whatever that's happening on the marketplace. People need to, if people don't have the passion, they won't even understand that. So those kind of things is what I mean by passion towards technology. And then you need to have the skill to articulate, you need to have the skill to prioritize, because those are the next few things that come in. As a person aspiring to a product manager, I would say they should talk to PMs who are in the role, and understand what is the day in their life, and then see what are the skills that I utilize. Ultimately, as a hiring manager or a hiring person on the PM thing, I want to ensure that you work in my day, and you can ensure all of those things happen seamlessly.
So, do you have any advice for MBA students looking to go into product roles?
I've found when I talk to students, general two kind of people. One, because product is hot, they want to get into the product roles. For them, yes, it is hot. It is good to be in product roles, but also back it up with, as I said, all the other skills that you have. Spend the time during MBA with your cohort, with your class, with your study group or whatever group you create, practicing. And understanding how these things work. There will always be an alum network whom you can reach out to, see if you can talk to them. In cases like an IIM, if you can get a what do you call a replacement internship, or you get a chance to shadow PM, those are the best ways to understand what a product management role is, and also probably quickly convert that to offer.
So, to all the MBA grads who are going to do a product internship this summer, and the ones who do it in the future, do you have any tips to get to people? Do you think there's like a guideline that they should follow?
So, whatever I say next is biased by the fact that I didn't go through internship program. ISB is a 1-year course. We don't have an internship, but I've seen a few interns working with our teams, and some stand out, some don't. The way I see some standing out are those people go deep into understanding the product and don't treat internship as just about showcasing themselves. The moment you understand the product and the team understands you, understand the depth of the product, that's when you're automatically identified or you stand out. So spend time understanding the field you are in, and don't worry about, I want to give X number of solutions. A product manager is not about solutions. It's about figuring out where the problems are, asking the right questions, and then even if you deliver one solution, or even you can say why X solution doesn't work, that also adds value. So don't focus on trying to go and I'll go suggest this feature there and this feature here. That doesn't work. You need to come up with why first, and why is the most important part.
All right. Well, this has been a really good talk, and thank you for coming. Before we end the video, I just wanted to announce that on 26th March, Seekamentor had launched our first 10-week-long PM cohort program, and we are all set to launch the next cohort on 11 June. The details of the program and the registration link are in the description below. And if you liked our content, do subscribe and drop a like. Thank you.